Hello. That was very loud. Hello. I'm just going to come over and turn our Instagram on and we can get going. Amazing. Hello, everyone. Hi. Fab. So I'm just on a few minutes early, so we will just wait a minute or two, give everyone a chance to get on. Because I have you still over on YouTube and Instagram. So especially for Instagram, it's easiest for people when they're doing it live. So I shall wait till we get to 7. Hope you are really well. Happy Tuesday. I feel like the hair might have to go up today. This feels like a very warm evening. It's been very sunny today. But I hope you had a really lovely bank holiday and got out in the sun a little bit. Very good. Get the vitamin D. I went for a really nice big walk. Try to explore my local area a bit more. So I went a little bit further than I normally do. But it was really good. Got loads of steps in. I think I did about 5 miles or so in the end. But it was a really lovely day to do it. Nice and early sort of thing. So yeah, so I hope you managed to do something this bank holiday just to lift your spirits a little bit. I don't think watching the news lifts your spirits, so hopefully we didn't do too much of that. There we go, amazing. So I think we're on about 7-ish, aren't we? Yeah, pretty much. Fab. Okay, so it's our class tonight. What am I going to look at today? I think I'm going to look at our hips, stretching the hips and the legs. I've done quite a lot of focus on the chest and the back because a lot of us are sitting at desks a lot more, sitting at home, maybe not in the right sort of setup. But I fancy some hip openers. So hips are an area that we hold a lot of tension. Some people in particular, that's where you hold a lot of emotional tension that can kind of build up in that area. So if you feel like you've got very tight hips, often it's sort of said in yoga that lots of hip openers can kind of release those emotions because you kind of feel all sorts of things when you're going into them. So yes, if if you get any crazy feelings doing them, that's why. But it's a really good area to open up. It also helps with a lot of mobility. We can lose that range of motion in our hips as we get a little older. And it's not an area that you want to start to feel stiff and tight in. Also, if you do a lot of activity or exercise that's quite linear, or for instance, you walk or run or cycle a lot, it's that very static movement for the hips. They're moving in one way, so they can get quite tight because of that. So yeah, let's look at the hips today. Let's give them a bit of love, bit of TLC. So I reckon we should get going. Onto your mat for me, all the usual stuff. If you are quite warm where you are, do feel free to take as many breaks as you need. If you need to grab a little drink of water, then do. Just take it nice and easy if you feel quite warm. I think this barnet might have to go up. I do have a massive scrunchie with me. Okay, so seated pose for me to start, sitting up nice and tall. And just start by taking a few natural breaths. It might feel comfortable for you to breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the mouth. Just whatever you need. Maybe a little sigh too. Then whenever you feel ready to, we're going to start to bring the hands down to the sides with the palms up. Take a nice big inhale to float all the way up, nice and tall. Easy exhale out the mouth. Brings those hands down to the chest. We can just plug the thumbs into the heartbeat. Find that nice, easy rhythm. And we'll just do the same thing 2 more times. Big inhale floats you all the way up. Easy exhale softens you back down. And one last time. Big inhale. Easy exhale. And while we have the thumbs on the heartbeat, it's a good time just to scan through the body and just notice how it feels. That might be just the temperature of the skin, maybe any heat in the body. It might be anywhere you feel a little tension today. Maybe you'll feel a little stiff in the hips or the back. Or maybe even just start to notice your connection to the ground. We can then start to draw that attention towards our breath without changing it too much. Just noticing if it's maybe high in the chest, could be a little lower in the belly. Maybe it's quick or slow. And finally, the mind. Just want you to notice how you feel right this moment. Whenever you feel ready to, we'll start to move those hands down to the knees with the palms up, and then we'll warm ourselves up. So just sitting up as tall as you can, starting with the top of your head. Take a big inhale, turn your head all the way over to one side, just to stretch into the neck. And then exhale all the way over to the other side, taking that stretch as deeply as you can. Big inhale takes you back, just breathing down into the belly. And that exhale softens you over. Let's go for 2 more of those. Inhale sends you round. Take that stretch nice and deep. And then exhale over. On that next inhale over to the side, we can then exhale the head down into a semicircle position. So we're going to relax it all the way down. So we're looking in between the legs. Relax the shoulders, the chest once you're there. Feel the stretch in the neck. And then ease up to the other side. So just drawing that big U shape with your nose. Remembering any spot that feels good to linger. Stay there a little longer. Relax down. And just ease up in your own time. Just want you to take 1 more of those. And center up whenever you feel ready. Once you're there, we'll just bring the hands down. If you can, lift your bum up just a touch and then come back down just to make you nice and tall. So you can sit up nice and tall there. We'll take our little twist for the back. So I want you to sit up nice and tall. Take an inhale, lift both hands up towards the ceiling for me. And then as you exhale, twist across the body, grabbing your hand onto your opposite knee, sliding the other hand behind you and looking over your shoulder. So you should be able to feel this twist down your back. Keep your spine as tall as you can. Look over that shoulder, take an inhale, just see if you can twist a little deeper, maybe walk that back hand a little further around. And then as you exhale, come back to the front. Same thing on the other side. So take a big inhale to lift up. And then as you exhale, twist across the body, grab that knee with the opposite hand and send yourself over. That gave me 2 back clicks there. That was great. Take a nice big inhale. See if you can slide a little further. And then exhale to the front. Good. Lean backwards slightly just so you can take your legs out for your wide-legged stretch. Again, taking your time here. Ooh, squeaky. If you want to, again, lift your bottom just to get a little bit more comfortable. If you find this is too much with both legs out, we're going to be leaning over one leg at a time. So if you're going over to this side and this is too much on this leg, just bring the foot in. So just take the pressure off one leg so you can go one at a time. Okay, let's move over a little bit. Realize that I'm in the way. Okay, toes facing up towards the ceiling. Knees soft if you need them to be. We'll bring the hands down to the sides. Take a big inhale to lift up. Turn the whole body over to that side and then exhale it down. So this isn't about grabbing those toes. It's about getting the chest in line with that leg and trying to relax down as much as you can. So we're going to take 3 breaths here. As you inhale, we can lift the chest and look forward. And then as you exhale, just try and relax down. 2 more the same for me. So inhale lifts you up. Exhale down. Last one, big inhale up. Exhale down. It's just coming into a little opening here. So I want you to bring your hand onto the inside of your leg and then inhale to lift your opposite hand all the way up to the ceiling. If this is enough, keep it here. If you've got a little bit more wiggle room, turn the hand to face you and then bring it overhead. The thing to focus on here is the chest coming forward rather than twisting down. So I'm looking forward and I'm stretching it out. Might find those toes, I might not. Doesn't matter at all. It's just about getting the stretch for you. Take a nice big deep inhale, lift all the way back up to the ceiling. Take your time, turn to face the other leg and then exhale it down. Remember, if you need to bring this other leg in, then you can do. So we're wiggling down, trying to relax that chest down there. 3 breaths to start with. So inhale, lift the chest and then exhale, ease it down. 2 more for me. Same thing on this side. We move our hand towards the inside of the leg, just wherever you are, and then inhale to lift your opposite hand all the way up. This might feel like enough. If you've got that wiggle room, turn the hand to face you and then bring it overhead. Okay, and you might grab the toes, but it's more important to keep the chest forward and get the stretch all the way down this side. Try and relax your head a little bit here. Relax those hands. On your next inhale, we're going to lift both hands up to the ceiling, sitting up nice and tall. You're not going to like me for this one, but we're going to exhale and forward fold down. So just slowly take your time. This is just waking up the inside of those legs. So it might be a bit of a tight area for you. You can bring the hands closer in towards you. Over time, they might ease down. But we're going to do the same thing where we lift and lower with the breath. That's the way to deepen those stretches. So if you inhale, lift your chest and look up. And then as you exhale, maybe see if you can soften down towards the elbows. Maybe relax the head down. We'll go for 2 more. So inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Good. Take a nice big inhale, lift that chest, walk your hands in towards you, and then we're just going to bring those feet together. So lean back slightly, gently bring them back to the front. If you need to give them a little wibble around, then you can. And then we're going to just take a little rock the baby with our feet just to wake those hips up. So I want you to take one foot into your opposite hand, okay? And then wiggle it in towards you. So rather than the foot coming down towards the opposite leg, we're trying to keep this leg up, okay? If you have got a nice bent elbow over here, you're going to take your foot and see if you can wiggle it into your elbow crease just to hug it in a little bit closer. If that feels too tight today, hold on to it with your foot, support it with your other hand, and then you're literally going to rock side to side. That's why it's called the rock the baby. Okay. If you can hug it in a little bit closer, maybe even lean back, or even put a hand behind you just to get a little bit deeper in it, then we can go for that too. If you can put your foot over your head, you feel free, my friend. I'm just going to keep mine here. Again, free foot, don't notice it. I I have no control over this other foot while I'm doing this, so it just goes for a little sway at the same time. One last little squeeze in with the foot, and then we can release. Gently take it back down. Same thing on the other side. So take your time, bring it in, get the fluff off your foot, hug it in, keeping the shin nice and high. If you can, tuck it into your elbow crease. This is my tighter leg. It will always be your tighter leg, guaranteed, because you didn't want to do it first. So your body knows. So you can wiggle around a little bit if you need to. Start to rock side to side. If you wanted to go a little bit deeper, lean back. Oh, that song's stuck in my head now. Give it a little squeeze. You can put it over your head. It's, you do you. I'll stick with this. One last little squeeze, and then we can release. Give the legs a little bit of a stretch, a little bit of wobble around. Grab a little drink if you need it, and we're going to go into a bit of a flow for me. Hopefully, we are all good so far. I can see you doing stuff over there, but you're far too far away for me to read. Okay, are we ready? We're going to go for it. So, scared the guinea pigs, whatever I just did there. Sorry, guys. So, into box pose for me. Knees directly under your hips. Ooh, hands underneath the shoulders and that nice flat back. That's what we're looking for there. Sometimes it can help just to run a hand down your back and make sure it feels nice and strong. Just tucking in the tummy if it feels a little bit like we've got a little arch or a little tuck there, okay? To help you out with a lot of your poses on the hands, try and spread your fingers apart. That will help too, rather than keeping them too close together. So we always want to create this suction with the base of the hands, the palm of the hands there. So we'll start with a little cat-cow position. Neutral spine, look forward. Inhale, lift your head and your bum nice and high, belly low as you look up. And exhale, curl the spine into cat. So we're curling it all the way and looking in between those legs. Good. Take a big inhale, lift back up to cow. Push your hands down as you look up. And an exhale curls you all the way around. 2 more just the same. So big inhale, we lift up. Easy exhale, curls you round. Okay, we'll take our little moving cat-cow there. So in your cat pose, looking between your legs, slowly bring your bum down towards your feet. Feel that stretch running down the back as you go. Once you're there, if it feels good, take those hands a little further away. Bring the head down. Feel the stretch in the shoulders. Soften your elbows down, and on your next inhale, we gently roll up and back into cow. If you've moved those hands, you can always just slide them in again, bring them underneath the shoulders. Let's do that 2 more times. If you prefer not to have the movement back and forth, just keep them at the top as before. So take an inhale, curl into cat, looking between the legs, push the hands down still, slowly roll down, come into child's pose. If it feels good, lengthen the hands a little further away. Soften those elbows down. Inhale to lift up. Good. And one more for me. This hair is incredible. One more for me in your own time. So curl the spine. Is it time to start tying the hair up? I think it is, all the way down. And back up. Good. I promise I'm in here somewhere. There we go. From there, we'll come into our down dog. So curl the toes, take the hands slightly further away, and then take a big inhale, lift up, bums nice and high, heels off the ground, and your feet or your legs might be a little tight here. So just walking on the spot, practicing that down dog, all the weight going back, creating like a little ski slope. That's how I like to think of it in my back, just trying to slide the shoulders down. If it feels good, try taking your feet to the width of your mat. Really lean back here. And I just want you to go for one knee at a time, bending that knee. So we're going to bend the right knee, lean all the way over with the left, and come up, and then over to the left. So I'm leaning it over to my left, and then back up. Let's do that one more time. So lean to the right, and back up. Lean to the left. Good. And back up. Bring those feet a little closer together for me. And we'll lift and lower 3 times towards our tiptoes to really stretch the feet. So take a big inhale, lift up to your tiptoes. And then as you exhale, soften back down. 2 more the same. Big inhale, lift up. Exhale down. One more big inhale, lift up. Good. Exhale down. Start to bend those knees. Slowly walk up to the top of your mat for forward fold. So take your time, walk yourself up. Come into that little forward fold once you're there. So feet hip distance apart. That's 2 fists between your big toes. Knees nice and soft. And we'll have our little ragdoll there. So bring hands to opposite elbows and relax your head down. Nice little sway side to side. And give your head more of a shake here. Do that yes and do that no. That's not going to help the hair situation, is it? Dear me. Take a nice big deep inhale. As you exhale, relaxing the hands down towards the ground, coming into a little twist there. So right hand to the outside of the left ankle. Inhale the left hand all the way up to the ceiling, looking up if you can. You can keep those knees soft, have a little sway. Exhale back down. Same thing on the other side. So we cross it over. Big inhale, lift up. And exhale back down. Good. Bend those knees. Inhale, roll up to stand. Squeeze the tummy as you go. Head's the last thing up. Big exhale once you get there. Good. Okay. Now, I'm going to throw it out there. We're going for a bit of a balance and a hip opener at this point. So, if your balance feels a bit pants today, you're going to go next to a wall for this pose for me, because we're going to be bringing one foot up and leaning backwards. Okay, I've noticed that I'm probably half on one screen and only a little bit on the other. So if you need to, if that balance just feels not your friend today, lean against a wall or even come onto a chair. If you've got a chair to hand, you could easily do that too. But if you're feeling confident, you're feeling with me, we're going to stand up nice and tall, squeeze your tummy, inhale to lift the right knee up towards your chest. And just as we always do, have that little sway, little hip opener, and find something to focus on out in front. Find those things that you don't normally want to notice on your wall, like the little mark or old holes where you used to put pictures. That's what I'm looking at. Soften the standing leg. Make sure you feel nice and strong. And once you're there, we're going to take that right foot, cross it over and above the left knee. So we're kind of making a little figure four here, okay? Soften that left knee, stick your bum out, and I want you just to see if you can grab that right leg and bring it a little bit higher. Hoik it up, okay? If this is enough, keep it here. If you can come a touch lower, just a scoot lower, and then bring those hands up, even better. Good. Take a big inhale. Exhale, you've got it. On that next inhale, release, bring it up, hug the knee into the chest. Exhale, back, low lunge. Breathe, breathe, breathe. We got you. We're there. I just came a little bit too far back on my mat, so I'm going to wiggle my foot forward. Good. Low lunge to high lunge for me. So take your time, get those hands away, look forward, find your focus point again. Take a big inhale, push all the way up. And then as you exhale, soften back down. Two more the same for me. So big inhale, lift up. Exhale back down. Last one, big inhale, lift up. Good. Exhale back down. From that position, soften the back knee down, uncurl the toes. Have just a minute in this lower lunge just to find the right alignment for you, because we're going to come into our lizard pose. So rather than having the weight directly on that back knee, we want to shift the weight forward, push into your hips. So you feel this in the top of your leg and in your opposite hip for me, okay? So that little bit of alignment, I don't talk much about alignment, but just that little bit is going to help you out. So take your time getting into that position. Once you're there, I want you to walk your left foot out to the width of your mat and then bring your hands to the inside. So again, you can wiggle yourself around a little bit here. If this feels a bit tight for your left hip, walk the foot a little bit wider. Another position I like to do, I'm just going to come up so you can hopefully see this front foot a little bit more, is just to turn the foot out. So I'm just releasing my knee. I'm going to release my hip a little bit. So I can just turn it out. So if I was in my lizard, here I am. I can just turn my feet out just slightly, just to help me out. So lizard pose does work one hip at a time. You're going to feel this in the top of your right leg and in your left hip, hopefully. Otherwise, we've got trouble. So hopefully you're on the same side as me. That'll help. Now, if this feels enough, keep it here. Can you see I'm just having a little gentle sway, a little bit of movement. I'm just trying to find those spots that maybe I'm a little bit tight and just try and ease them out. If after a few minutes you feel like you've got a bit more wiggle room, you can go a little bit deeper. We come down to the forearms, but always start with your outer forearm because it's the easier side to get to first. So slowly see if you can come down. Again, you can stay on this left one, or you might find that you can come down to the left side. The inside elbow will always have a little habit of just hanging around a little bit higher. So don't worry about that. What you can also do, again, I'll show you more on the other side because you'll see it better, but you can slide the hand around the foot, so to the outside when you're down on your forearm, and it will give you a little bit more wiggle room. But if you feel best up at the top, stay up at the top. I want you to take 3 breaths though. So even if you need to move from one place to the other in those 3 breaths, just try and keep that breath easy. Try and feel it come all the way down to the belly still. It might be an exhale out the mouth if we need it, if this is a bit tight. Good. Take a nice big deep inhale for me. Come up to the hands if you're down. Curl the back toes, lift that knee, and a bit of a challenge here. We're going to push that left foot back to down dog. So big push all the way back. Feel free to make any noises you need to make. Pedal into those feet, breathe. And we're going to do what we did at the very beginning when we took our feet out nice and wide. We're going to bend from one knee to the other. So I'm going to bend my right knee so all my weight lifts over to the right. I stretch out my left leg. I come up to the center, same thing. So I'm going to bend the left knee, come all the way over and back up. One more time each side. So bend the right knee and come up. Good. Bend the left knee and come up. Good. Come back towards the middle, little space between the feet. I will do the same thing on the other side. So I bend my knees, slowly walk up to the top of my mat for my forward fold. Take your time. I'm coming just a little bit further back so you can see me, even if I can't see me. There we go. I'm there somewhere. Bend those knees. And we'll either take a ragdoll again or just let the arms dangle down. Relax your head down. Take some big deep breaths there. Relax those shoulders. Relax, release any tension in the face, in the neck, across the shoulders. Take a nice big deep inhale and then exhale down. Coming into our little twist again. So right hand to the outside of the left ankle. Inhale the left hand all the way up to the ceiling, looking up if you can. Exhale back down. Same thing on the other side. So we cross it over, big inhale, lift up. And then exhale back down. Bend those knees. Inhale, roll up to stand. Squeeze the tummy as you go. Head's the last thing up. Big exhale once you're there. Definitely need a haircut. There we go. From that position, it's the same thing on the other side. So if you need to, as I mentioned before, you could lean against a wall for this part and just come away from the wall when we go into the flow. So leaning towards your right, move a little bit closer towards the middle for you. Squeeze your tummy. Inhale, lift the left knee up to the chest. Soften the standing leg. And then have your little movement side to side. You can see my free hand. I allow it to do all the jazz hands. Some people like to hold their ear. Never quite got that one, but if that works for you, then go for it. But just think about keeping everything soft. We don't want to lock anything out, because as soon as I lock something out, if I feel wobbly, which I will, I'm going to find it very difficult to right myself. Once you found that focus, cross the left leg above the right knee. Okay, make your little number 4. Bend your knee, stick your bum out, just walk your hands down, see if you can find that foot and hoik it a little bit higher. From that position, I need to find my focus. My wall's just too clean. There we go. There's a bit of muck. Come down a little bit lower. If you can take the hands away, that's grand. We'll bring them out in front. Inhale. Exhale. You've got this. Come a little bit lower. Yeah, take an inhale, lift all the way up, hug the knee into the chest. Exhale, back low lunge. Definitely going to come off my mat. So I'm just going to whoop. There we go. Fabulous. Take a little bit of time here. Move around. Oh, definitely warm in this room tonight. Low lunge to high lunge 3 times. So look out in front, find your focus, take a big inhale, lift it up, push through the feet. We're not helping. Exhale back down. 2 more the same. Big inhale, lift it up. Easy exhale down. Last one for me. Big inhale, lift it up. Exhale back down. Good. Soften that back knee down, uncurl the toes. If you remember, we did on the last leg, you can come up if that helps, just to make sure that you've got hips forward, knee pointing to my leg like that, knee at a nice angle, so that we've not got that right angle, all the weight pushing down. We don't want to be in that position. We want to be really stretching it out. Even just up here, great stretch to do just to release the hips. You should be feeling this in your hip a little bit and in your opposite leg. From that position, the hands are coming down. I'm going to walk my right foot to the width of my mat to come into lizard. Hands come either side. Even here, it's a good place to wiggle around. See if you can maybe lengthen the back leg just a little bit more. If you need to, you could also pop a blanket or a cushion under the back knee if it needs a bit more support. You can come up onto the side of this front foot. So some people prefer that feeling, other people don't like it so much. So just, again, play it by ear. Maybe walk the foot a little wider. Maybe take those toes out to the side. It might feel nice just to come high, hold on to the knee. You can kind of draw that knee away, push away. Maybe that feels good. Just take your time. As before, if you wanted to come down onto the forearm, start with your outer forearm. So that's going to be my left arm. I'm going to come all the way down and then maybe see about this right arm. So if you couldn't quite reach it, or if it just feels like it's in the way, wrap it around and place it the other side of your foot. Okay, and you can come up to the side of the foot here. Just see what feels good. Have a bit of movement wherever you are. So it just helps you to ease into the stretch. Helps us find those niggly spots that we want to lean into. And it's going to help with your own natural alignment. So the reason I don't talk about alignment in lots of depth, in particular on a video where I can't see you, is that we all have very different alignment. We all have very different bodies. So to think that they can all look the same and move in the same way, for me, I don't think is possible. So I prefer you to be mindful of your own body, and that will lead you to the right alignment 9 times out of 10, because you will find what feels good for you, what needs work, and linger in those spots. And you're naturally going to find your own alignment. That's, for me personally, that's how I prefer to teach it, rather than go, right, that knee 2 centimeters back and move that foot over there, because that just might not work for you. And every day is very, very different in your body. I promise I'm under all this hair. I can just see that I look like pure Fraggle Rock right now. But yeah, from tension, from sleep, if you've not had enough water, whatever activity you've done, it all changes how your body feels each day. Now, you're probably starting to think that I'm whittling on and you'd quite like to get out of this pose now. So I promise I will. On your next inhale, just come up to those hands if you're currently down on the forearms, and we'll go back to down dog. So curl the back toes, lift that knee, big push. Feel free to make any noises you need to get there. And then pedal those feet one more time for me. Take a nice big deep inhale. As you exhale, soften the knees down to the ground. Uncurl the toes. Rest back in child's pose. Have a few breaths there. If you prefer, bring your hands to the inside, one on top of the other. Tuck the elbows out, and you can just rest your head on the hands if you prefer. You can even come into baby pose. So baby pose is to bring your head down and slide the hands backwards so they're next to the feet. Sometimes called rock pose or leave me alone pose, I'd imagine. Again, you can stay there for as long as you would like, and come up whenever you're ready. and grab a little drink if you need one. I am sweaty. That was a good little warm workout. So just come down for me, have a little breather, have a little drink if you need it. Okay, hopefully we're all good. So we're going to move into frog pose. Now, frog pose is a great hip opener, and it's also really, really good for alignment for your hips. So most people have a little bit of misalignment in the hips for all number of reasons. For women in particular, if you have children and you hold your child on one side, then you're going to always tend to go for the same side, and that can lead to a little bit of movement in the hips. If you wear a bag across your shoulder or a satchel or anything like that, again, a little bit of a alignment issue in the hips. All sorts of things. We don't tend to be very equal with the things that we do. And we have a dominant side as well, so that plays its part. So frog pose is great for that. But I call frog pose my Marmite pose because you really do love it or hate it. And I go through phases where I really like it and I do it a lot, and then I have phases where I don't do it at all. So basically, that's why I've stopped. I've got you just to have a seat and have a drink because I want to talk you through it a little bit. I'm going to point out the areas that you might struggle with. And if it just isn't for you, because you'll know quite quickly, you'll get into it and just go, nope, nope, don't like it. If it's not for you, then I want you to spend some time in Happy Baby. So again, I'll quickly show you that as well, because it's going to give you a very similar stretch. And you can also do something called a supported Happy Baby. So I'm going to quickly show you that, because again, we're going to be in this for a little while. So it's important that we are comfortable and you're not at home cursing me or anything like that. Okay, so frog pose. You are going to do this lengthways on your mat. And the reason I say lengthways is that I don't know what flooring you have under your mat. And if you have a lovely shiny floor, if your knees go onto it and you're going to slide away, you might slide too far, and then that's going to require someone to help hoik you out of it. And I don't want to be responsible for that. So always lengthways on the mat. So we start, trying to get the hair out of the way for this one. We start on the hands and the knees. A lot of this pose as well will depend on the clothing that you've got on. So I'm going to slide my knees out, but I know I've got baggy joggers on, so I'm probably not going to find this too easy. So in this pose, see, yeah, no sliding involved. I'm going to take my knees out as far as I can. And then the reason it's called frog pose is that hopefully you can just see my feet behind me, that I have my toes facing out and my heels facing in. So this is my froggy pose. We're trying to get a right angle on that knee and the foot behind. To deepen this pose, no one's ever asked me, but to deepen this pose, take your feet a little bit wider than that right angle, okay? So even from this spot, if you're giving it a go with me, this might feel like, I don't like it. The main reason is that I've got my kneecap out of the way here. So again, apologies, black mat, black leggings, but I've got my knee out the way and I'm on what I would affectionately call the squidgy part of my knee, so the inside of my knee. Now, if you don't have a squidgy part for inside of your knee, if you have maybe, I don't want to say bonier knees, daintier knees, then this might be quite tender for them. Or if your hips are quite tight, you might feel like you can't actually get that length, that movement in the hips to come onto the inside of the knee. So see how this feels. You could put a blanket under them. You could fold your mat in half. There's a few things you could try. So just see how it feels. We've now got to go a little bit deeper into our frog pose. So we come down onto the forearms and interlace the hands like you're having a little prayer here. Okay, you might be having a little prayer here. Now, for me personally, I like movement in all of my poses. So I would take a little movement in my frog pose. If you lean forward, this is going to ease your stretch out. When you lean backwards, you'll find you'll get to that spot, oh, here it comes, where it's quite a tight stretch. So for me personally, I would lean forward, ease it out, and then I would lean back and take the stretch. So just stretch it out. And we are going to be here for a few breaths. So a little forward and a little back. If you need to come out of this quicker, Your easiest option is going to be to lean forward, basically come onto your belly and your chest, move your hands out of the way, sort of probably feel like a bit of a seal, but then bring your legs together and come up. If you're happy in that frog pose, I want you to stay there a little bit longer for me, leaning forward and back. If it is just not for you, then I'm going to quickly show you how to get into happy baby instead. And I'm also going to show you how to go into supported happy baby. So to support my baby, I am going to use a little cushion. You could use a towel wrapped up, anything at all. And what I want to do is I want to pop this under my bottom. So I'm going to lie down. Where's my microphone bit? There it is. It's okay. And I pop this under my bottom. And what that's going to do is just automatically lift my hips up so that when I do bring my knees up, get myself in the right place, it's much easier. They're much closer to me because my hips are lifted rather than if I was flat. So if you wanted to, it's just a nice way to do it. From that position, I can bring my feet up and I should hopefully naturally feel that those feet are a little bit closer towards me and the knees are nice and close into my chest. Then it's just a matter of sliding those feet out, keeping the shoulder blades down. You could have a little sway here. You could even try and practice straightening the legs here if that felt good. But it's just a nice way to get that hip open. You should be able to feel this in your hips. And as best you can, relax the arms, relax the shoulders down. You'll feel this more if you think about if the shoulder's off the ground compared to if you've managed to push it against the ground. Okay, so that's where I want you to be. I'm just going to go back into frog because although as comfortable as this is, I want to be able to help you out if you are hopefully, some of you, still in frog. So if you were in happy baby, the way you're going to come out of it is just to grab one leg. No, release yourself first, that'll help. And then grab one leg and come up. Just like my thinking noise there. Okay, so if you are in frog, promise you're probably quite keen to come out of it pretty soon. So we will. Okay, let's get you out of it. From this position, come back up onto your hands. Now you've been in this a while, some of you, so you're going to want to take your time coming out of it. Lean forward to release the hips and very slowly slide your knees together and come up onto your knees. Take your time with that. And then I want you just to finish with a little happy baby for me. So just as you saw a minute ago, go into a happy baby. If you were in happy baby, then you're going to come down. I want you to, if you wanted to, in fact, still sit on your cushion or just pop your bottom down. I've got to move away from this creaky floorboard. From this position, make yourself comfortable. Bend the knees, put a nice distance between the feet. So past hip distance. If our hip distance is here, so I don't know, twice of them. Bring your hands down behind you. If it feels comfortable to lift your chest, release your back. And then I want you to just take those knees side to side. So just to release the outside of the leg. Okay, so as you lean over to one side, you should be able to feel this on your other side. If you were just directly on the ground, we can do this from here. That is such a creaky floorboard. No, I've made it worse. We can go side to side. If you're in your happy baby, you can come and join us here now as well. Again, take your time. If you wanted to deepen this stretch, this is just called windscreen wiper. Very technical. You can lean over to one side, pick up your free foot, place it above the knee, and then just apply a bit more pressure. You'll feel this bum cheek start to lift off, so don't worry about that. Try and keep it down as much as you can. Maybe take a breath or two on that side, then you can release. And then go over to the other side. Again, take your time. Give a little release. One more on each side. If it feels good just to go for this part, that's great. If you wanted to deepen it, we can do that too. Good. And then just come up. Okay, believe it or not, it's relaxation time. We've already got to that spot. So hopefully your hips are feeling like they've had a good workout. I'm going to stop playing with that. So relaxation, if you've done it before with me, you know exactly what to do. I am going to stay seated. I always stay seated because it's much easier for me to talk this way, and I might fall asleep if I lie down. But I want you to find a comfortable lying down position. So that could be a bend in the knees as you're lying down, just to support your back. You could use a little cushion under your back again to support it. But if you can, I would turn your lights off, I'd close the door, I'd tell everyone you've got, 10 more minutes and then you'll be back in the room. But just give yourself just that little bit of time to unwind and relax. So I will grab a little drink while you get yourself comfortable. Amazing. Dear me. We'll really ignore that. Okay. So nice big deep breaths all the way down to the belly. As you breathe in, we feel the belly expand and lift. And as you breathe out, just start to feel it soften back down. And we'll just start at the very top of the head. Slowly releasing all the tiny muscles in the scalp, down behind the backs of the ears, and the nape of the neck. If it feels good, we can just turn the head side to side, just easing it down to the ground and feeling it soften out. Working back through to the hairline and gently onto the face. We can just raise the eyebrows up, feel that tension rise in the forehead, and release. Just feeling it soften back down. Moving down to the eyes, we can gently roll them one way and then the other way. And just soften them down into the sockets. Moving down the bridge of the nose and the cheeks, all the way through to the jawline. You can just clench the teeth together, feel that tension rise in the mouth, and release. Just feeling the whole face relax. Softening the tongue and the mouth. You can send that feeling all the way down the throat and the neck, deep into the collarbone. In turn, we can just shift that feeling into the shoulder blades, maybe moving them side to side. And working over to the shoulders and gently down the arms. All the way to the elbows and the forearms, through the wrists, and then deep into the hands. You can just clench the hands into fists, feel that tension rise all the way up, and release. Just feeling them soften back down. Sending that feeling all the way up to the very top of the back. We can gently work our way down the vertebrae, one notch at a time, easing it down to the ground, all the way to the hips. From there, we send that feeling up to the top of the chest. And just follow the breath as it releases across the chest, down into the ribs and sides, and all the way into the belly. Just relaxing the muscles as we go. You can shift this feeling into the hips, maybe moving them side to side. And just working our way through the tops of the legs and the thighs, all the way to the kneecaps. You can squeeze the knees in, feel that tension rise in the legs, and release, feeling them relax back down. Moving through the shins and the calves, all the way through the ankles, and then deep into the feet. We'll just create that final piece of tension there by squeezing the toes as much as you can. Feel the tension rise up and release. Just feeling them soften out and maybe ease to the sides. So we can just spend some time focusing solely on the breath to stay connected. We can count those inhales and exhales. And if any thoughts come at all, we just acknowledge them and let them go. Very gently, we can just start to bring our awareness back into the room. We can wiggle the fingers and the toes and just start to focus back on the breath. If it feels good, I just want you to take a nice big full body stretch to help you wake up. So take a big inhale, lift your arms all the way up and over. You can really point your fingers and your toes. And as you exhale, gently come back down. Nice and slowly in your own time. I just want you to roll onto one side and then make your way back to that seated pose where we started. Take your time. Once you're there, we're just going to take those 3 breaths to tune out in exactly the same way we tuned in. So sitting up nice and tall, bring the hands down to the sides. Take a big inhale to float all the way up. Easy exhale out the mouth. Brings those hands down to the chest. We'll just plug the thumbs into the heartbeats. Find that nice, easy rhythm. 2 more times just the same. Big inhale floats you up. Easy exhale softens you back down. And one last time for me. Big inhale floats you up. Easy exhale releases you down. And while we have the thumbs on the heartbeat, it's a good time just to scan through the body and just notice how it feels. We can then draw that attention towards the breath without changing it too much, just noticing how it feels in the body. And finally, the mind. Just want you to notice how you feel right this moment. And namaste. Thank you very, very much. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that felt like a nice stretch for the hips. I quite like a nice hour on a Tuesday night. It is good. So yeah, we've got 2 more classes this week. Friday morning, Thursday lunchtime. I think I've relaxed myself too much. I've forgotten what day it is. And yes, and I'm kind of seeing how it all goes. At some point, I'll have to go back to work, I'm afraid. But yes, I'll probably still try and record some stuff for you. But I hope you enjoyed it. Do leave me a little comment or anything you'd like me to do in the future. Do let me know. And I shall hopefully see you again on Thursday. I'm going to go and eat my tea now. I've learnt my lesson, and tea is after yoga. It's best. Okay, take care. Have a really lovely evening, and I shall see you soon. I'm going to end myself over